Hi, I'm Dan Vito. This is Fireborn Studios, and this demonstration is geared toward my students. When I make the spout, it's going to be like this before I cut it off. It's a cross section here. But I don't have this much clay. There's a lot more clay than I'm using right now for this demonstration. For this demonstration, I'm using 12 to 14 ounces of clay, and I'm going to go right down to the wheel head, no bottom, pull this out, and I'm pulling it out a lot farther than you think it should be pulled out. But then I'm going to come in, and don't underestimate how far you need to pull this out. Okay, so I'm starting my upward slant, and now I need to get my inside fingers all the way out to there so that I can make this section thin enough. And that's where people often have problems. The bottom of their lid is where their spout is really thick and clunky. So I'm lifting up, you can see me lifting, and then I'm pushing in and up. Okay. Now, it's taller than it needs to be. Better to have too much clay than not enough. I'm going to hack off the top. Start to close this up. And I'm looking for a nice curve here. A nice flowing curve, kind of like the curve you see on a rib. Okay. Now, you want this part of the spout not to look clunky. So you need to make sure that it's thin enough that it looks good. I also don't want to have throwing lines on the inside, because when the water flows over those ridges, or the T, I should say, it's not going to get a clean shot. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm going to cut the end of this off later, so I don't need to worry too much about how pretty this looks up here, but I do want to worry about the diameter. And you don't want to do too wide or too skinny. Hard to say. And it depends on the size of your hand. Let's see, the handle of a Kemper trim tool or a cutoff wire can easily fit in there. There's plenty of room. It's bigger than that in terms of size. Okay, it is 1 1/4 centimeter. Okay, so now I'm going to score where I'm going to cut it off. And I'm going to dry it off using this rib. Which also puts some nice little throwing lines in it, which you can leave there if you want. And I'm going to keep it dry because I want to be able to pick it up. And if it's all wet and slippery, I can't do that. Then I put the wire in here, in my line. I'm going to hold the left side of the wire still and pull the right side toward me to cut a very clean line. And I'm done. Wipe my hand off, and I can pick this up and it doesn't slip. Okay, done. So here's the lid, or the spout, and again, needs to be thin down here. At another time, we can, cut this off and show you how to put it on. Okay, so let's review. There's a spout. There's a teapot body. It has this little whoop on the top so that when you put on the lid, the flange of the lid hovers above the side of the teapot. If the flange from the lid is not hovering above the side of the teapot, then when you wax, you're going to have to wax way out here on the teapot. You're going to have this huge unwaxed area or unglazed area because of the wax. So you need to make sure that there's clearance between the bottom edge of the lid and the pot, and you get that by putting this little whoop here. As far as the angle here goes, this can be angled a variety of ways. It can go up, it can go down, it can go whichever way you want, but it needs to kind of match up with what's here and not stick up too high, not be down too low. And the spout will be cut at an angle later. I can do a quick demo of the spout cut. I put the spout on the end of the table, like that. And when it's leather hard, I do this. Put the wire right on the spout and give it a quick jerk. Okay, that gives me the basic cut on the spout. Then I lay it down and I tweak it a little bit, like so, to get a slightly more rounded bottom. And this is an essential step. When I put it on the pot, it's going to go on like this. And this is easy to push onto the pot, but this is not up here because I don't have any flare. So I take this part of the spout and I flare it out like that so that I have something to push down on after I get it on. So I can push this and stick it on good. And of course, before you stick the spout on, you need to make the holes and all that other stuff. And later on, when I'm all done, I'll take a metal rib and cut the end of the spout off at a slight angle so that it looks like this. And when you cut it, the spout always twists. So you can't cut it so it looks perfect now, because when it twists, it's going to be cockeyed. It twists in the glaze firing. So you have to cut it off from approximately 5 o'clock toward 11 o'clock because it's going to twist about 1 hour's worth of twist in the glaze firing. And it's going to twist clockwise. Okay, so those are the basics of making a teapot. Like I said, with this amount of clay, 2.5 pounds of clay and a 6-inch high cylinder, you can get an intermediate thrower should be able to get a decent teapot.